Good morning. Have you ever wondered why your child or your spouse acts the way they do? Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. Hey, I'm Pastor Aaron from First Baptist Crowley, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I call the family zoo. Now, this is an application that can be made in your home, it can be made at work, even at church, your committee meetings, your small groups, your work groups that you have, maybe even your study groups that you're placed in school, where they have those, hey, make a group and have that together. So I want to talk to you about the family zoo today because, my wife and I ask sometimes, hey, I know you and you know me. How did we create that in one of our kids? Because everybody's different. And the experiences that you have, the whole nature nurture conversation can be very eye-opening. Because if you really look inside yourself, there's a lot of things we thought was just, it's nurture. It's the educational system, or it's the social media system, or it's how somebody was raised maybe. But there's a lot to this nature that I don't think we ever really have fully understood. And so today I want to talk about 4 different personality types. And we're going to do this. I learned this from John Trent and Gary Smalley years ago. It's not new information, but I just want to share it with you today because I think we all deal with the family zoo, and I want to give us a little help. It's one of my favorite talks that I have given over the years. I've probably touched on this before, even in this arena, but I'm going to touch on it again, and I hope this helps you today. Okay, in the family zoo, we've got those that are your alpha kind of people, right? They're the ones that, they're the leaders. They're the alpha dogs. They're the ones that are taking charge. They lead the pack. They're stepping out there. They're your type A, high productive, high energy, kind of people, right? But on the other side of things, you also have those that are your laid back, chill type. Nothing really motivates them a lot, and you really got to push them to get them to do anything, right? And so here you already have 2 kinds of people. Now, what I want to talk about is that you have people that are on the hard side of love, and you have some people on the soft side of love. Let's get to our whiteboard, all right? So we have here, I'm just going to create a basic box, okay? And we'll just erase that part that doesn't match. That's a beautiful thing. All right, so what we have to work with now is this idea that there are 4 basic types. Now I know you can take a disc inventory, and you got so many different ones. You can check your Enneagram number, and hey, I've got one. Okay, but really, if you look at it, if you want to be very simple and basic about it, you got 4. There's 4 basic types, and then there's all the nuances of, well, what if they're a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? Okay, so what we have here is over on this side, we have the hard side of love, and over here we have what we're calling the soft side of love. I'm not saying you're soft. What I'm saying is that you're not as aggressive as somebody over here on this side of things, okay? So here's the first one. It'd be interesting to see which one resonates with you and which ones you have in your own family. And I'll share some things as well. All right, so over here, you have what has been called the lion. This is the lion. The lion is the leader. They're the ones in charge. They're the ones who don't have any time for nonsense. They don't have any time for these things. They're going to be setting the tone, setting the pace. They're going to be your pace setters. They're going to be the ones who are out there. On the hard side of love, you also have what has been called the beavers. The beavers are the kind of people that everything has its place and everything ought to be in its place. Beavers will trend toward, some OCD kinds of things. I mean, everything's got to be right. If you're going to do something, do it right. That's kind of the mantra of the beavers in their style of personality, their style of loving somebody. I mean, you could have somebody that's a beaver and they're like, hey, that's a great job, but you could have done this and it would have been better. Ever have somebody like that? Hey, I had my dad asked me one time, I came home, I had 96 on a test, and he looked at the test and he said, 96, let's see where you went wrong. I'm like, I got a 96. But anyway, where's the two questions you learn? I can trend toward these things, and it bugs my kids. So you got lion and beaver. These are on the harder side of things. They're going to be a little more distant, a little more aloof. They're going to be, they don't like to have a lot of questions asked about them. And if you've got a big lion in the house and a little lioness in the house, get ready, because sparks are going to fly. There's going to be issues, and it's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. All right, over here, you've got what's called the otter. And this is over on the softer side of love. Okay, so the otter is going to be, they're just going to have fun. If you're going to do it, let's have fun doing it. We just need to have fun. How can we make a game out of this? How can we have fun? In fact, if you're not going to have fun, I don't even care to be a part of it. These are your party people. These are the party animals. These are the ones who the life of the party. They're the jokesters. They're the ones who create all kinds. I mean, these are the people that bring life to a situation. Okay, and then you have what's called the golden retriever. Okay, the golden retriever. Now, the golden retriever is going to be loyal. They're just loyal. The softer side of love, they're just going to be loyal. They're going to find they're just going to find the loyalty. They're just going to find the good. And they're going to. You see the opposites here. The beaver will tend to find what's wrong with it. The golden retriever will tend to find what's good with it. Okay. And so you have kind of the opposites here. The lion is the one that's going to make a plan, stick with a plan, and don't challenge the plan. The otter's like, plans? I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I mean, it's like, schedules? Why do I need a schedule? I just show up and we're good. The otter and the lion are kind of opposites in this regard. The lion will tend to follow this perception. To be on time is late. Okay. I got an 11 o'clock appointment. 10:50 is when I need to be there. And if I'm there at 11, if I'm there at 10:59, I'm not late, but the lion would say, get there early. Early is on time is late. This is kind of the mixture of a lion and beaver situation. The otter's like, time. I don't wear a watch. I don't really care. Hey, we'll just have a great time when I show up. Meanwhile, if you've got an otter going to a lion or a beaver interviewer, you're going to have some problems and you're going to have some issues. So let's talk a little bit about each one. Okay. So you have the lion. And you say, well, why is this important? Well, the Bible says to train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they shall not depart from it. Okay. Now that can mean a variety of things, right? I mean, yes, I need to train them up to be on the brink of, I can't make a decision for Christ for them, but I need to train them up and raise them up in a way that they are prepared to make that decision when the time is right and when they will choose to make that decision. But to train up a child in the way the way they should go. You have a beaver or a lion dad, but let's say the child is an otter or a golden retriever. Here's what happens many times. Parents, we want to train up a child in the way they should go, but we often don't take the time to ask ourselves, how should they go? What's in their best interest? What is their skill set? Dad played baseball, but it doesn't mean son is going to play baseball. Dad was an outstanding All-American linebacker. Doesn't mean that son is going to grow up to do that. because he may have the physique to do it, but he doesn't have the personality to do it. And so we need to understand our spouse, our children, our grandchildren, our coworkers. We just need to understand. We need to understand ourselves as well. Self-awareness is a level of maturity that we have to have. So, lions, we'll start there. Lions are, as I said, the take charge kind of people. Lions, in their communication style, are very succinct. Lions are going to be the Reader's Digest kind of individuals. They're going to be, they're just not going to talk a lot about things. That's over on the softer side of love. Lions tell you what you need to know, when you need to know it, and you better not question them. Now, I'm being extreme, but it's amazing how many times that actually rings true, that we understand. Lions are just this way. They're alpha type peoples. They're high type A kind of people. And they just take charge. It doesn't take long to figure out who's the lion. When a group of people suddenly show up, who's the one who usually takes charge? They're the lion. They're just going to do that. They're a natural born leader. This is just who they are. A lot of things about a lion are good. Now, it can be pushed to an extreme, and that really is the definition of a weakness that John Trent and Gary Smalley share, is that a strength pushed to an extreme becomes your weakness. Lions, great leaders, but if they lead out of harshness and they can become cruel in their leadership, then that leadership capacity has been pushed to an extreme, and now it's a weakness for them. Actually, their leadership actually becomes a weakness because they're cruel in it. They don't share a lot. They just are out there leading. They're going to be your visionaries. They're going to be the ones that are saying, hey, this is where we are. This is where we need to go. Let's go. And the rest of the people, have trouble with that. One of the things lions really have to work on is hearing everybody else out. And when lions in their young stage don't know how to do that. And so you've got lions that come on staff, lions that come on in your world, or lions come into your home. And suddenly you've got an otter and a golden retriever parent type, but they have a little young lion. And guess who runs the house? Lions are just going to run things. This is what they do. They are makers of industry. They're going to run the life. They're going to run the home. They're going to run the job site. They may not have the position or the title, but lions are going to run things. This is what lions do. Meanwhile, you've got the beaver. And as I mentioned, beavers are, let's do things right. And beavers will take an inordinate amount of time to get the same job done. Beavers are going to say, if you're going to do something, do it right. And they can be very critical about things. Lions don't like to be questioned. Beavers really don't like it either, but they've got all the answers. And the thing about the beaver is everything has its place. Everything needs to be in its place. Okay. That's very common. But beavers are also this exactness about them. They're very detail oriented in their personality structure. And so they can have that's where the strength can become a weakness. Hey, if you have somebody that is in quality control and quality, you want a beaver in quality assurance, right? Because you want it to be done right. If something's wrong, you put a beaver on it because they're going to find out what's wrong and they're going to point that out, likely before you ever know about it, and likely before you're aware of it. And maybe something you don't even like. But this is what a beaver is going to do. It's the hard side of love. Why? Because they don't really take your feelings into consideration. They don't really care. Now, I know I'm being harsh. I know I'm being a little, a little bit of an exaggeration there. But if you really break it down to its base levels, beavers are going to tell you what's wrong. And if you take offense to that, they don't know what to do with that. because, well, wrong is wrong, right is right, wrong, there's black, there's white, there is no gray here. And beavers really struggle because why are they not on time? Why are they not doing their job? Hey, I asked you to clean your room. Why are you now playing a game in the middle of your room? I mean, this, a beaver parent trying to tell an otter child how to do something can get really complicated, and the communication can break down because beavers have a way of thinking. Time management. Beavers with time management. Beavers have everything lined out. They've got their whole schedule lined out to the moment, to the minute, and don't understand why otters and golden retrievers can't seem to figure this out. I mean, beavers have their schedule and they're like, okay, let's sit down and talk about a schedule. Otters are like, what? I'm just in it to have fun here. I mean, this is I'm good. I got it. I'm okay. And this is a struggle that you're going to find when you cross this line. See, the problem is that when you have children, grandchildren, coworkers, teachers to students, students to teachers, when you are crossing this line, there is a very distinct possibility of conflict to rise. In the same way that if you have a lion and a lion together, that you're going to run into potential hazards because two lions, they both think they're right. They both think they're in charge. They both are going to do that. And they're just going to sit and scowl at each other and just they're going to be in conflict a lot of times. In the same way that a lion and an otter are going to be in conflict with one another because they come at things from different perspectives. Do you see how important it is for you to understand the family zoo? Do you know why I call it the family zoo? Because you could have a lion dad, a beaver mother, and an otter child. That's a recipe for conflict. And isn't it amazing how God gives this to our homes? Two otter parents that have a lion child. I mean, it goes both ways. It's very interesting. Now, what's fascinating is oftentimes in our lives, opposites attract. So oftentimes in marriages, you want to know why you have conflict in your marriage? Because you've never dealt with this. You have a lion-otter relationship. Now, opposites will attract. The lion loves the playfulness of the otter, and the otter kind of likes the structure of the lion at first. But if you don't get a handle on it, and if you aren't operating out of a sense of faith and commitment, then it's going to be a recipe for conflict down the line. Because it just is, especially if you go crossways, lion to golden retriever. Now, so I haven't gotten here yet, but otters just want to have fun, period. They just want to have fun. You want otters at your party. You want otters at any party. You got to have an otter. Why? Because it's just a boring get together. But with otters, suddenly it becomes a party. It goes from a get together to a party when the otter shows up. And that's just the way it is. If you want to have fun, you get an otter, okay? But you can't have a room of otters because you get nothing done, okay? Golden retriever, loyal. Golden retrievers are the kind of person, for example, if you were to walk into a room of 50 people, okay? You walk into a room of 50 people. The otter is just going to butterfly. They're just going to be all over the place, okay? They're going to be 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there. The otter is going to be talking to you, but then looking over the shoulder. They're going to be talking to you, but they're going to be looking over your shoulder to see who else comes in. Because, if somebody more fun comes in than you, they're going to leave you and go to them, okay? That's what an otter does. Not the golden retriever. The golden retriever is going to find that one person that they can spend the rest of the evening with, sitting off to alone by themselves, and they're going to have a wonderful conversation together. It's going to be beautiful. The otter is going to know 3,000 people 1 inch deep. The golden retriever is going to have one person really deep, okay? And so the otter is going to be like, everybody's the friend. I mean, they got 1,000 friends. The golden retriever would say, yeah, I only got one or two. And that's a huge difference. If you have an otter child, I mean, You can't tell who their friends are. Everybody's their buddy. But a golden retriever, you might have to pull out of them, some things, because they're going to be reserved. They're not going to be in the social scene. They're not going to be interested in the social scene. But if you befriend them, and if they have befriended you, you have a lifelong friend in them forever. Now, see, here's some problems that happen. So one of the problems that happen is the strength of the loyalty in the golden retriever. More often than not, what I have found, the women who stay in an abusive relationship, okay? Women who stay in abusive and they shouldn't stay in abusive. You are valuable. You are worth more than that. You need to walk away from abusive relationships. I don't care if you're 16 or 46. You need to walk away from abusive men. Every day, walk away from them. You deserve more than that. But here's the struggle. Golden retriever people find it hard to leave relationships. Why? I made a commitment. I made a connection. I am in this. How in the world could I ever walk away? And so they can end up in the hospital, and the police could be hoping that they would file charges, and they won't do it. Now, this absolutely aggravates the lions and the beavers, because they're like, you know what to do. You just need to do it. But the golden retriever, I'm telling you, the golden retriever can't do that. And it's hard for them. But if you don't understand their personality type, you can write them off, and you can say, hey, well, that's on them. Well, maybe not. Yes, on the one side, they have a self-responsibility that they need to feel better about themselves. But I'm telling you, a lot of golden retrievers suffer with self-esteem problems. And people that sit on this side, the lions and the beavers, they don't have those. Now, the beavers, I think, have some issues inside of them that they can't get over. That's why they have OCD. That's why they have such rigid rule structures. The lions, complete confidence in everything. Let me tell you, the lion doesn't have to have all the facts to make a decision. Okay? I don't have to have all the facts. Let's make a decision. At the end of the day, lions want to make decisions. Beavers want to make the right decisions. The otters are like, why do we even need to make a decision? And the golden retrievers are like, I'll do whatever it is you tell me to do. This is how it plays out even in committee work. This is how it plays out in work study groups. This is how it plays out in schools around the nation. This is how things occur. This is what happens in homes and families. The lions can be taking so much charge over these two. The lions, they want to be right. They want to be in charge, and they don't want to be questioned. The otters, however, are the opposites of that. They don't want to be in charge. And hey, let's just, party it up. The lions are like, excuse me? Now, you want a lion to be in charge of the party. You want a beaver to plan the party. The lion's going to say, let's have a party. The beaver's going to say, okay, what are we doing? Where are we doing it? How are we going to do that? What are the things? What are the plates? What are the cups? What's the color scheme that we're going to do? Do we have a theme for the party? What's the time, date, location? How many? What kind of invitation? I mean, this is the beaver, right? The otter's like, hey, I'm here, And the golden retriever is going to show up, slink in the back door, find the one person, sit over by the fire, and they're going to be there all night, and nobody's going to maybe even know they were present. That's okay. It's who they are. You don't train up a child in the way you should go. You train up a child in the way they should go. So if you're an otter parent with a lion child, you have some work to do. You have to take charge. A 4-year-old cannot run the household, but 2 otter parents, they don't see it. They don't even see it. Okay. But that's not healthy when they turn 14 and 18, when They haven't had structure. They need structure. Children need structure. Oh, you're just a lion. Of course you're going to say, no, every child needs structure. They need structure in which that they can flourish and grow and mature, but not have strengths allowed to be pushed to extremes simply because we abdicated responsibility. Now, the flip side is 2 lion parents can ruin an otter. Yeah. We can run their life so much that at the end of the day, the otters, not only their will is broken, their spirit is broken. And we got to be real careful not to break their spirits. Yes, everybody needs to understand who's in charge and who's not in charge. And appropriate people need to be in charge. Okay? But we have to be careful when we're dealing with other people because everybody's coming at these things differently and they have different areas of strength and weakness. And we don't need to override that, especially on the lion and the beaver side. You have a beaver parent that basically cannot express what you did right. All they see is what you did wrong. That's just going to break the will of the otters and golden retrievers. We all need to be supported. We all need to feel secure in our relationship. We all need to have a sense of self-confidence about us to make good decisions at the right times. And so every one of us, wherever you fall here, hard side, soft side, wherever, we have to take into account that others in our home, others in our workspaces, others in our study groups, others on our team do not have the same idea of how things should be. And so we have to take into consideration those things. Be aware of who you are, but also be aware of who they are and try to find a balance there in your life. When it comes to loving one another, when it comes to disciplinary otters will not discipline their child. They don't know how. They just can't. It's not fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Well, I might make them cry. Yes, you might. On the other side, lions and beavers, it can go into abuse. It can. The strength can be turned into a weakness. So on the one side, they may not be doing it at all. On the other side, it can be abusive. Now, I'm all for corporal punishment. I mean, I'm spank your child, bring them in line. Well, it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. But we have to make sure that we're doing it in an appropriate way for the age they are and for the problem that was there. Don't overdo it, lions and beavers. Don't overdo it. Don't break them just because you have a hard time finding what's right in somebody. That's the family zoo. We all live in one. We all have one. And it's something that we all have to deal with. I hope that helps you. If you have any more questions, I'd love to talk more with you and to help you out. Thank you for being with me on Whiteboard Wednesday. Tomorrow is Dads with Coffee, and I look forward to that as well. You guys have a great day.